Boys, I've been thinking to myself, Shohei Ohtani just went to the Dodgers, and I'm like, their financial situation is not looking so great 10 years from now, which who cares? If they win 2 World Series, no one's going to care. That's all that they want. So today, I decided to go ahead and I'm going to rank every MLB team's financial situation on a tier list. Now, if you're on the podcast side, obviously you're not seeing the visuals unless the video podcast gets put up. It depends on what gets put up. So we got 5 tiers. Change it up a little bit. We got the elites. We got the ones that are pretty nice, mid, the ones that are not ideal, and the ones that are cursed financial situations. And I'm going to explain a little bit of it, but mostly try to move through these pretty quickly. We're starting off with the Diamondbacks. Their payroll's not super high. They bring in free agents every once in a while. They have kind of just a mid payroll. They're kind of a right around league average when it comes to payment anyway. And that's when they have a bunch of young guys on the roster. So not much to say about them. The Braves sneaky don't spend a ton of money. Their payroll is going to be higher, but they tend to really kind of pull from within rather than go out and spend money on free agents a lot. It shows Dansby walks, Freeman walks, and it might not have been their fault, but they don't go out and get the big free agent name every single time. So overall, their financial situation is pretty nice just because you know that they'll make trades and they'll have the money to pay for those guys. But overall, like, they just don't spend a lot of money. Moving on to the Orioles, it's pretty cursed. They have like the lowest payroll in baseball. They never spend. Hopefully that's turning, but for right now it's cursed. Not much more to say. The Red Sox, they always will have a lot of money. It's pretty nice. They just aren't spending a lot of money right now. They have it, they're just not spending it. Which almost makes me want to put it in. I am going to put it in mid because they're not spending their money, which is probably an ownership thing, which probably means they just don't want to spend a lot of money. So it's whatever. The Cubs recently have been spending the money on the free agents, which we saw that their owners are rich people. I'm going to put it in pretty nice. Their owners are really rich. They own multiple sports teams. I believe soccer team or something like that, and maybe another team as well. We knew they had money. They just weren't spending it on this baseball team. They have been recently, and as if you're a Cubs fan and you know you're in play for a lot of guys, you're in play for Shohei Ohtani. You know that you have owners who now want to spend, so we'll put you there. The White Sox are an interesting one. Their biggest free agent contract was given out last year. It was to Andrew Benintendi. Overall, it's not cursed. It's not ideal. It's almost cursed, to be honest, because they also just don't have a high payroll, but they at least give extensions to people sometimes, but it's not ideal overall. I'm going to put the Reds in the same. I'm going to put them in not ideal. They've had to let stars walk, Castellanos most recently. But they brought in Candelario this year, and they've brought in Nick Martinez. They've spent money this year, which is a little bit surprising, so it makes me want to put them a little bit higher than cursed. The Guardians, definitely cursed. They do not spend money. Lindor had to leave because they could not pay for him. Ramirez almost had to leave. If he didn't take such a team-friendly contract, he'd be gone. Yeah, overall, they don't spend any money. They're going to trade away their pieces, Bieber, guys like that, so it's not super exciting. To the Rockies, they spend money in the wrong place. It's not ideal. I'm not going to say that it's cursed. It's just they spend money on free agents for sure. Chris Bryant got a pretty nice contract. That just doesn't make any sense to me. So it's almost like their GM or just like who they are spending it on is not great. The Tigers, I'm actually going to move into mid. Ever since Miggy, they knew Miggy was coming off the books, and they've spent money the last few years combined knowing that he would. Javi Baez did not work out, but that's not really part of this exercise. So you're looking at them now, what their financial situation looks like, and they're spending money in the right places, bringing in veteran guys. They brought in 2 nice starting pitchers in Flaherty and Maeda in this offseason. So I'm going to put it in mid. I don't think it's like nice, but not ideal is not how I'd put it. They're starting to spend money, definitely. Astros, I'm going to put in pretty nice. They also don't bring in a ton of free agents, big free agent guys. They brought in Abreu last year, who not working out for them right now. It's a lower contract, but they're spending a lot of money on the guys they bring internally, kind of similar to the Braves. So I'm going to put them in pretty nice. They have a pretty high payroll, so I'll put them at pretty nice. Kansas City, this one's hard because the last week they've spent like $100 million in players in free agency. It's weird. It's really weird. Overall, they're not spending it in the right place. It's all short-term contracts, so if I'm being honest, if they continue this trend, they could be going up and up and up. I'm going to put them in mid. It just doesn't seem like they could have much more to say about that. The Angels, it's not ideal. They're still spending money. They still have a higher payroll, and you know that they will go out and buy other people. They just didn't have the offer for Shohei Ohtani, and they knew that was in the cards. They knew he wasn't going to come back. They're just not. They also don't put money in the right place, so that's how that's working right now. Dodgers are an interesting one. They're kind of the point of this exercise. Their future, as I said, it's cursed. If we're talking about 10 years from now, it's cursed. Right now, it's elite. Just because Ohtani is making the $2 million, which that's the real money. The luxury tax money is $46 million or whatever. But if you're looking at just the real money right now and how much they're saving on him because of that, it allows them to get more pieces. They're set up for success, so I will put them into the elite category. The Marlins, they don't spend money. They're cursed, man. Guys walk on them all the time. They had their superstar, and they had to trade him away because they could not afford him after they extended him, which is the silliest part about the whole thing. Brewers, I'm going to say not ideal. It's not cursed because they have gotten some players, but they also don't spend a lot of money. They're clearing house right now. They just extended Chourio before he's played a game above the AA level, which is unbelievable. So that's how they're going right now. But they bought out all his pre-arb years plus some more. So that's an interesting one. The Mets, it's always going to be elite because it doesn't matter how much money is not existent to them. You might be thinking, then why are they not getting all these guys? It's because they tried that last year. They tried bringing in every superstar. It did not work. Steve Cohen's gotten smart. He used his money, and he spent like $80 million on 2 prospects pretty much for the Scherzer and Verlander deals. And so money just doesn't exist. He's just kind of playing with it now and being a lot smarter with it. The Yankees, it's almost just becoming who spends the most money. The Yankees' financial future is not ideal. I don't think it's looking very good because if you're looking at how much money they have invested long-term in people, LeMahieu's still got years on him. Giancarlo Stanton is killing their payroll right now. But the thing is, money doesn't exist to them. With the Mets, it's like they don't have guys on long-term deals. Lindor obviously is on the long-term deal. Who else, though? Like McNeil, whatever. Not very long. Everyone else will come off the books before you know it. So it's almost like just because they have put so many long-term deals into their contracts and into their books, it's not an ideal spot to be in. The A's, it's cursed. I'm not even gonna talk about it. We'll move to the Phillies. The Phillies, they've got money invested very long-term in 2 guys. You got Bryce Harper, who ironically, probably more shaky than the other one, Trey Turner. Trey Turner is one of the best, if not the best, athletes in baseball, and we know that he is going to be a guy who can play at a high level into his later contract. Bryce Harper, on the other hand, with the amount of injuries he's had in his career, it's hard to say whether or not his later career is going to be anything that's worth the money he's going to be getting, $27 million. Which might not be anything by the time we get there. I'm not here to talk about politics. So that's what makes it confusing with the Phillies. Other than that, they've got a bunch of ARB guys, pre-ARB guys. Bryson Stott, one of their most impact players, is making $750K this year. On the pitching side, they just got Nola. Nola throws a wrench in this whole thing. I can't put them in the same as the Yankees because they don't have as many guys locked up long term that are going to hurt them or are hurting them right now. I'm going to put them in mid. They've got money that they can spend, excess money, but I think that the Nola contract is what brings them down right now. The Pirates, it's cursed as well. They just don't spend money, and if they do, it's just not good. Padres, we'll move on quickly. Padres is definitely cursed. They are so down bad that they had to take a loan to pay their players last year. They had to trade away Juan Soto, who probably their best player on their team out of all those starts because they have so much money invested in the other guys. The Bogart signing was I can't even call it greedy. It just wasn't good. I mean, he didn't have a bad year last year. It just was the fact that why are you giving like 12 years or whatever they did to him, man? It just does not make a lot of sense to me. That's just how the market played out. Saved a little bit of money per year on it, but so many years invested in that team. The Mariners, I'm going to be honest, I think theirs is mid. It's close to pretty nice because it all depends on what their organizational direction is from here. They've been clearing money off the books for something. I don't know what it is, but I would think a move coming in here somewhere. Eugenio got moved off the books, a couple other players. So it's interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see where they go from here. The Giants, it's got to be nice. It's just the fact that the players decide they don't want to play in San Francisco, which it's just because the city's not great. But they are constantly in on every free agent. They give offers to every free agent. Apparently, they gave the same contract that the Dodgers did to Ohtani. He just didn't want to. He would rather play in LA than in San Francisco. Cardinals don't have a ton of long-term guys. Like, they have guys coming off the books. Arenado is the exception. He's the guy locked up. I'm going to put this one in pretty nice just because they have a lot of young talent on their team, which is going to need to be extended soon. Goldie, maybe give him an extension. I'll be interested to see what they do with him. But their pitchers are on short-term deals, obviously. So, overall, it's pretty nice if you're the Cardinals. Tampa Bay, it's just not financially, man. It's got to be cursed. They refuse to use money. They just had to trade away Glass now, and it's just not looking good. If you're the Rangers right now, with all the money you've invested, how is it looking? Well, obviously you just turned it into a World Series, so great for you. Hopefully you made your money back, or you will make your money back. This is an interesting one. They got a lot of money invested in old pitchers right now. Overall, I'm going to put it in not ideal because they've got guys on very long-term deals, and then they've got their pitching rotation is old, and a lot of money is invested into it. So I'm going to say no, I don't think it's ideal. The Twins, it's mid. It's like every time they want to spend money, it's like it just never ever comes to fruition, which just, it doesn't make sense to me. Whatever, you do you, but I'm done with them, man. Blue Jays, I'm going to say pretty nice. They've spent a lot of money, especially recently. The Rogers Corporation or whatever that owns them, they're in on everybody as well, just like they were about to be in on Ohtani. So it's got to be pretty nice. And then the Nationals will finish this one off. The Nationals, it's not ideal because we've seen them spend money. They still have to pay for the Strasburg thing. It's trending upward, but once they can move off of everything else, then they'll be fine. So that does it. That's the tier list here for every team's financial situations.